Okay, and so onto the next section of sticking that aerial on, and then giving it a little paint up in brown paint. So that's a tiny dab of glue around the hole for it to go into. There's probably actually a bit too much glue. Let's pick that off with my cocktail stick, and then pick up the aerial with. You'll notice that there's a at the top of the post. There's a piece that that sticks out at the top to make it an L shape. Well, the piece sticking out needs to be facing the tail of the aeroplane. So stick that in if we can. Struggling with it for some reason. And just push that gently down into the into its fixing hole there. I don't know how much of that you saw, but there we are. That's in position now. So and you may have noticed actually that I've stood the plane on its undercarriage. So there it is. It's on its wheels already, folks. So so that's all worked out really nicely. Right, the good Humbrol brush has had a nice clean. I'll dry it with my little bit of kitchen roll. Put the lid back on the glue. The paint has had a stir, so let's paint this aerial in the camouflage brown colour, because that's the surrounding colour. I know there's a little bit of green nearby, but it's actually on a brown section of the camouflage. So brown it shall be. Good, one brown aerial. Now I did notice a part earlier on where I'd got some green on the brown, which is no good. So I'll just touch that in. A teeny weeny little bit of brown paint, and that will soon dry off. That's fine. Let's touch that over, and there's actually a little tiny bit there that can be touched in as well, just to disguise an empty section. Good. There we are. Next job then. This is a. Oh, sorry. I nearly forgot. I've got to paint the tail wheel black. I'll do that last. So yes, this is we really are on the home straight now. So once there's one more item to stick on, or two more little items to stick on, but they're really very important. It's time to put the cockpit canopy on. Now this will make or break the model in my opinion, and even I've been building models for a number of years, it's still my Achilles heel, and I'm only just developing my skills in painting the frames around the cockpit canopies neatly. There are many methods. You can painstakingly mask off the areas that aren't the glass areas that aren't going to have any paint on, and just leaving the frames exposed to be painted. I've tried that. I'm too clumsy to do it neatly. You can buy pre-cut masks, but again they're fiddly to apply. My favourite method is just to do it jolly carefully with a thin brush. So that's what I'm going to do on this occasion. That's what I'm going to sort of show you now. So I've opened the packet with the canopy inside. I'm going to carefully cut it from the sprue. There's also a teeny weeny little glass dot there that will fit as a light on the underside of the plane in that hole there. Okay, so let's do the cockpit canopy first. Carefully cut it so that it doesn't get scratched. The glass will scratch dead easily. You don't want to do that because, as I say, in my opinion, this makes or breaks the model at this stage. I'm just twisting that one off. So that's come off its runners fairly cleanly. And now for the first time, what I'm going to do is offer it onto the plane. There, that's a pretty good fit in my opinion. That's not too bad at all. That sits in there. Oh, sits on there really quite well. Okay, now the critical thing with the canopy, particularly with this type of glue, and again I'll be honest with you, one of the things I do with my other models that I make is I use a clear adhesive, an adhesive that dries clear, but I'm doing this in the spirit of the starter kit, and we only have the Humbrol poly cement to hand. So what I'm going to urge you to do is not get any of the adhesive onto the cockpit canopy, because it will stick to it, it will go foggy, and it will completely ruin it. So keep your if you get any glue on your fingers, don't touch the canopy. And I think because the canopy is sitting in there so well, we only actually need 2 areas where we need to contact the adhesive on. You remember I said it's important to clean the areas, clean paint away from the areas where the glue is going to sit. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean some paint from here, and I'm going to clean some paint from there, and I'm going to clean some paint up here behind the pilot. And those 3 points are where I'm just going to apply. Oh, you can't see that. I'm just going to apply a teeny weeny little bit of glue. Okay. Right, glue on the cocktail stick, tiny bit on there, tiny bit on there, tiny bit up there. Okay, and that's it. That's all the glue we're using to put the cockpit canopy on. Now I'm going to pick it up with the tweezers. This might not be too straightforward because it's a funny shape. And I'm just going to set it in position there. And that's it. Now leave that alone. Make sure there are no gaps. Sorry, I had to lift it away from you there to so I could see for myself how it was fitting on. But actually, so far, that's reasonably good. Okay, so that's the canopy on. To be honest with you, I could justify filing some of the plane away to make the cockpit canopy fit better, but I'm happy with it. It's good enough. We're not going to see any holes in it underneath. So and when we paint the canopy, it'll all look good. So I'm going to leave you there for a minute while I get the paint sorted out, ready to paint the canopy frames.